Your brother.
Who?
Your brother Ernest. He arrived about half an hour ago.
What? That's nonsense. I've got a brother.
Oh, don't say that. However badly he may behave to you in the past, he is still your brother. You can't be so heartless as to disown him. I'll tell him to come out. And you will shake hands with him, won't you, Uncle Jack?
Well, these are very joyful tidings.
After we've all been resigned to his loss, his son return to me seems peculiarly distressing.
I don't know what it all means. I think it's perfectly absurd. Good heavens.
Brother John, I have come down from town to tell you that I am very sorry for all the trouble I have given you, and I intend to lead a better life in the future.
Uncle Jack, you are not going to refuse your own brother's hand.
Nothing can induce me to shake his hand. I think his coming down here disgraceful. He knows perfectly well why.
Uncle Jack, do be nice. There is some good in everyone. Ernest has just been telling me all about his poor invalid friend, Mr. Bunbury, whom he goes to And surely there must be much good in one who is kind to an invalid, and leaves the pleasures of London to sit by a bed of pain.
Oh, he's been talking about Bunbury, has he?
Yes, Ernest has just been telling me all about poor Mr. Bunbury and his terrible state of health.
Bunbury. Well, I won't allow him to talk to you about Bunbury or anything else. It's enough to drive one perfectly frantic.
Of course, I admit the faults were all on my side, but I must say that I think that Brother John's coldness to me is peculiarly painful. I had expected a more enthusiastic welcome, especially considering it is the first time that I have come here.
Uncle Jack, if you do not shake hands with Ernest, I shall never forgive you.
No.
Never forgive me.
Never, never, never.
Well, this is the last time I shall ever do it.
It's pleasant, is it not, to see so perfect a reconciliation? I think we might leave the two brothers together.
Cecily, you will come with us.
Certainly, Miss Prism. My little task of reconciliation is over.
You have done a beautiful action today, dear child.
We must not be premature in our judgments.
I feel very happy.
You young scoundrel, Alden, you must get out of here as soon as possible. I don't allow any Bunbury here.
I've put Mr. Earnest's things in the room next to yours, sir. I suppose that is all right.
What?
Mr. Earnest's luggage, sir. I've packed it and put it in the room next to your own.
His luggage?
Yes, sir. 3 portmanteaus, a dressing case, 2 hat boxes, and a large luncheon basket.
I'm afraid I can't stay more than a week this time.
Men, order the dog cart at once. Mr. Earnest has been suddenly called back to town.
Yes, sir.
What a fearful lie you are, Jack. I've not been called back to town at all.
Yes, you have.
I haven't heard anyone call
Your
me.
duty as a gentleman calls you back.
My duties as a gentleman have never interfered with my pleasures in the smallest degree.
Yes, I can quite understand that.
Well, Cecily is a darling.
You are not to talk of Miss Cardew like that. I don't like it.
Well, I don't like your clothes. You look perfectly ridiculous in them. What on earth don't you go up in change? It is perfectly childish to be in deep mourning for a man who is actually staying with you for a full week at as it is. I call it grotesque.
You are not staying with me for a whole week as a guest or anything else. You've got to leave by the Beauvoir train.
I certainly won't leave you so long as you are in mourning. It would be most unfriendly. You'll do the same for me, I suppose. I should think it very unkind if you didn't.
Well, will you go if I change my clothes?
Yes. If you're not too long. I never saw anybody take so long to dress and with such little result.
Well, at any rate, that is better than being always overdressed as you are.
If I am occasionally a little overdressed, I make up for it by being always immensely overeducated.
Your vanity is ridiculous, your conduct an outrage, and your presence in my garden utterly absurd. However, you've got to leave by the 4:05 train, and I hope you will have a pleasant journey back to town. This bun-bearing, as you call it, has not been a great success for you.
I think it has been a great success. I'm in love with Cecily, and that is everything. But I must see her before I go and make arrangements for another Bunbury. There she is.
Oh, I merely came back to water the roses. I thought you were with Uncle Jack.
He's gone to order the dog cart for me.
Oh, is he going to take you on a nice drive?
He's going to send me away.
Then have we got to part?
I'm afraid so. It is a very painful parting.
It is always painful to part from people whom one has known for a very brief space of time. The absence of old friends one can endure with equanimity. But even a momentary separation from anyone to whom one has just been introduced is almost unbearable.
Thank you.
The dog cart is out the door, sir.
It can wait maybe for 5 minutes.
Yes, miss.
Cecily, I hope I shall not offend you if I state quite frankly and openly that you seem to me to be in every way the visible personification of absolute perfection.
I think your frankness does you great credit, Ernest. If you will allow me, I will copy your remarks into my diary.
Do you really keep a diary? Well, I'd give anything to look at it, may I?
Oh no, it is simply a very young girl's record of her own thoughts and impressions, and consequently meant for publication. When it appears in volume form, I hope you will order a copy. But pray, Ernest, don't stop. I delight in taking down from dictation. I have reached absolute perfection. You can go on. I'm quite ready for more. Oh, no, don't cough, Ernest. When one is dictating, one should speak fluently and not cough. Besides, I don't know how to spell cough.
Cecily, ever since I first gazed upon your wonderful and incomparable beauty, I have dared to love you wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly.
I don't think that you should tell me that you love me wildly, passionately, devotedly, hopelessly. Hopelessly doesn't seem to make much sense, does it?
Cecily,
The dog cart is waiting, sir.
tell it to come round next week at the same hour.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jack would be very much annoyed if he knew that you were staying on until next week at the same hour.
Oh, I don't care about Jack. I don't care about anyone in the whole world but you. I love you, Cecily. You will marry me, won't you?
You silly boy, of course! Why, we have been engaged for the last 3 months.
For the last 3 months?
Yes, it will be exactly 3 months on Thursday.
But how did we ever become engaged?
Well, ever since dear Uncle Jack first confessed to us that he had a younger brother who was very wicked and bad, you, of course, have formed the chief topic of conversation between myself and Miss Prism. And of course, a man who is much talked about is always very attractive. One feels there must be something in him after all. I dare say it was foolish of me, but I fell in love with you, Ernest.
Darling, but when was our engagement actually settled?
On the 14th of February last, worn out by your entire ignorance of my existence, I determined to end the matter one way or the other. And after a long struggle with myself, I accepted you under this dear old tree here. The next day, I bought this little ring in your name, And this is the little bangle with the true lover's knot I promised you always to wear.
Did I give you this? It's very pretty, isn't it?
Yes, you've wonderfully good taste, Ernest. It's the excuse I've always given for your leading such a bad life. And this is the box in which I keep all your dear letters.
My letters? That's my own sweet Cecily. I've never written you any letters.
You need hardly remind me of that, Ernest. I remember only too well that I was forced to write your letters for you. I wrote always 3 times a week, and sometimes oftener.
Oh, well, do let me read them, Cecily.
Oh, no. They would make you far too conceited. The 3 you wrote me after I had broken off our engagement are so beautiful. It's so badly spelled. That even now I can hardly read them without crying a little.
But was our engagement ever broken off?
Of course it was. On the 22nd of last March. You can see the entry if you like. Today I broke off my engagement with Earnest. I feel it is better to do so. The weather still continues charming.
But why on earth did you break it off? What had I done? I had done nothing at all. Cecily, I'm very much hurt indeed to hear you broke off our engagement. Particularly when the weather was so charming.
It would hardly have been considered a real serious engagement if it hadn't been broken off at least once. But I forgave you before the week was out.
Perfect angel you are, Cecily.
You sweet romantic boy. I hope your hair curls naturally. Does it?
Yes, darling. With a little help from others.
I'm so glad.
You'll never break off our engagement again, Cecily.
I don't think I can break it off now that I have actually met you. Besides, of course, there is the question of your name.
Yes, of course.
You must not laugh at me, darling. But it had always been a girlish dream of mine to love someone whose name was Earnest. There is something in that name that seems to inspire absolute confidence. I pity any poor married woman whose husband is not called Earnest.
But, my own sweet darling, do you mean to say that you could not love me if I had some other name?
But what name?
Oh, any name you like. Algernon, for instance.
Oh, but I don't like the name of Algernon.
But my own sweet, dear, loving little darling, I really can't see why you should object to the name of Algernon. It isn't at all a bad name. In fact, it is rather an aristocratic name. Half the chaps who would get up into the bankruptcy court are called Algernon. But, seriously, Cecily, if my name was Algie, couldn't you love me?
I might respect you, Ernest. I might admire your character. But I fear that I shall not be able to give you my undivided attention.
Cecily, you're right to hear, as I suppose, are thoroughly experienced in all the rites and ceremonials of the church.
Oh, yes. Dr. Chasuble is a most learned man. He has never written a single book, so you can imagine how much he knows.
I must see him at once on a most important christening. I mean, most important business.
Oh,
I shan't be away for more than half an hour.
well, considering that we have been engaged since February the 14th, and that I only met you today for the first time, I find it very hard for you to leave me for so long a period as half an hour. Couldn't you make it 20 minutes?
I'll be back in no time.
Oh, what an impetuous boy he is! I like his hair so much. I must copy his proposal into my diary.
Miss Fairfax is just called to see Mr. Worthing on very important business, Miss Fairfax states.
Did you tell him that Mr. Worthing is in his library?
Mr. Worthing went over in the direction of the rectory some time ago.
Pray ask the lady to come out here. Mr. Worthing is sure to be back soon, and you can bring tea.
Yes, miss.
Miss Fairfax.